My name is Ralph Roos. I grew up in rural Ottawa. I was kind of a believer. I believed in something. And I'd say a watershed moment for me to becoming a Christian was about, say, 10 years ago. I was basically living one paycheck away from living homeless. I didn't get there, but I think God just stepped in and said, no, that's enough. Put his everlasting arms around me and showed me to the Union Gospel Mission. I ended up in there because I was deep in addiction. And the moment I walked in, the first thing that they did and offered me was a brand new Bible. UGM was really helpful in sort of a three-braided way. One, they taught us about relapse prevention. Two, they taught us about reestablishing relationships or how to get into relationships properly. And the third was Bible studies. From that, they also encouraged us to attend church. So I did a little church shopping. John Oakley actually introduced me to Coastal Church. That first sermon and the first music, I just remember starting to tear up. Every word, every lyric was so important to me at that moment. And I soaked myself into church. I was able to volunteer serving food for the Alpha participants. I was allowed to lead the small discussion groups after the Alpha videos. One of the first Alpha groups that I was leading, our whole group became close friends, and that's where I met my wife, Adele. After Alpha was nearly, at the end of one of the sessions, we were wondering, what are we going to do now? Alpha's sort of over, and we just said, let's just continue to meet weekly. And that's how our life group was formed. What Adele and I found most rewarding about life groups is just that we get to see all of us in our group grow from various levels of our journey. The camaraderie, the warm discussions that we have. We get to agree and even disagree. We get to joke and laugh. We get to even cry and be vulnerable. I can't imagine church without a life group. It just doesn't make sense to me anymore. Then Coastal Church started offering this thing called SALT. So it was a 12-credit discipleship course. I took it, I loved it, and now I'm like this close to getting my Master of Arts in Christian Ministries. After I had graduated or commenced from the Union Gospel Mission's recovery program, I was actually going to go back into cooking, which is the field that I loved, okay? At the same time, Union Gospel Mission offered me a job as a ministry support worker there, and the money was half. And as it turns out, going back to kitchens was a definite no. So I stuck with Union Gospel Mission. I grew there, I learned there, continued with school, life group, church, all that stuff just got me to where I am as the supervisor. And people would ask me, when are you going to be a pastor? Are you going to be ordained? And I just kept saying, no, that's not really what God wants me to do. I kept thinking that, but I realized that they needed to know that there's someone that they can go to get spiritual advice. And so that's when I said, okay, I need to ask. So I went to Pastor Dave and I asked, I really believe that I'm called. And he brought it to the pastoral team at Coastal Church, and from what I understand, they said, yes, well, here I am ordained. August 9th, 2019 is when I was ordained. My whole life group came, many from Union Gospel Mission came. It was a super special day. A lot of people think Union Gospel Mission is a church, and we're not a church, we're a parachurch. We work alongside churches. Coastal Church, I know that they've partnered with us in various ways. I know they've sent us volunteers. I know they've financially supported many of the programs that we offer. Pastor Fari is local here, so he's discipled and mentored those that have gone through recovery that are seeking a better lifestyle. He's sent us people who needed recovery.